Now, I have a question for all of you. Who here drinks water, and who needs it to live? The answer, of course, is everyone. Water has shaped civilization, sustained life, and driven human progress for thousands of years. Yet, despite its importance, not everyone on this planet has access to safe drinking water. Today, approximately 26% of the world's population, that is around 2.2 to 2.1 to 2.2 billion people lack access to safely managed drinking water services. But the story of water doesn't just end there. Hidden beneath the surface are larger questions about sanitation and hygiene. What happens when access to safe drinking water increases? Is it connected to broader improvements? Today, I invite you to join me on a journey through data as we chart a course across countries and years to uncover the story that safe drinking water has to tell. Today, the question we are going to find the answer to is what is the relationship between access to safe drinking water, sanitation, and hygiene indicators across countries and years? For this presentation, I'll be using several data sets to answer our research question. For our independent variable, we will use a data set that looks at the percentage of people who have access to safely managed drinking water services, meaning that water is available when needed, located on or near their home, and is free from harmful contamination. For our dependent variables, we will use three different data sets. The first data set looks at the percentage of people who do not have access to safely managed sanitation services, meaning they lack proper sanitation facilities where human waste is treated safely or disposed of, and practice open defecation, which is the practice of relieving oneself outdoors like in a field or bush. I mean pooping outdoors, if that makes sense. The second data set looks at the percentage of people who have hand washing facilities with soap and water available at home, including facilities such as sinks, tabs, or buckets with tabs. The third data set looks at the percentage of people who have access to safely managed sanitation services, meaning they use sanitation facilities that are not shared with other households and where human waste is safely treated or disposed of, in a toilet, for example. This is a dashboard I created using all the data sets mentioned in the previous slide. The gauge in the top left shows the average percentage of the population with access to safely managed drinking water services. The remaining three graphs examine the relationship between access to safe drinking water and key sanitation and hygiene indicators. The graph in the top right compares safe drinking water access with open defecation rates. The graph in the bottom left compares safe drinking water access with sanitation access, and the graph in the bottom right compares safe drinking water access with hand washing access. I also created slicers that allow us to filter data by year, country, and location type, whether it be national, rural, or urban. To begin with, let's look at the national level. Looking across the data from 2000 to 2024, we can see that as access to safe drinking water increases, generally sanitation and hand washing access tends to increase, while open defecation rates tend to decrease. Now let's dive a little deeper into the data by looking at a country on a national level that has a weak economy, such as Afghanistan between 2014 and 2024. As you can see here, between 2014 and 2024, approximately 27% of Afghanistan's population has access to safely managed drinking water services. Even though Afghanistan has a weaker economy, we can still see that as access to safe drinking water increases, sanitation services and hand washing facilities also increase, while the percentage of open defecation decreases. This supports the overall pattern we observed in the broader sense in the previous slide, or improvements in access to safe drinking water are generally associated with better sanitation outcomes. Now let's compare these results to a country that has a stronger economy, keeping the data at the national level and focusing on the same time period, 2014 to 2024. Let's take a look at India. Looking at India, we can see that between 2014 and 2024, approximately 68% of the population had access to safely managed drinking water services. Compared to Afghanistan, India has a higher level of access to safe drinking water. And we can still observe the same overall pattern. As access to safe drinking water increases, sanitation services and hand washing facilities also increase, while open defecation decreases. This supports the broader pattern observed in the previous slide, where improvements in safe drinking water access are generally associated with better sanitation outcomes. Now, what exactly does all of this mean? Well, as you saw in the previous slide, we can conclude that higher access to safe drinking water is positively associated with sanitation and hand washing access, and negatively associated with open defecation across different country contexts. And this pattern seems to be generally consistent, suggesting a strong overall relationship. This likely reflects that water infrastructure and basic sanitation systems tend to develop together, so improvements in one are often linked to improvements in others. While access to safe drinking water does not automatically guarantee sanitation and hygiene services, the data suggests that improving water access is closely connected with improvements in these areas. Safe drinking water infrastructure often develops alongside other essential services such as sanitation and hygiene systems and provides an important foundation for building healthier communities. Now, you may be thinking, do we really need safe drinking water to improve sanitation and hygiene? Couldn't we just use alternatives like hand sanitizer or use basic methods of human disposal? While hand sanitizer can help reduce some germs, it does not replace washing hands with soap and water, especially when removing dirt, chemicals, and other contaminants. Similarly, when human waste is not properly managed and communities rely on unsafe disposal methods, it can increase the risk of disease transmission and create environmental health problems. You may also be thinking that there are other major challenges that need to be addressed first. Well, safe drinking water is a foundation that supports progress in many areas like reducing poverty and ensuring healthy lives. In conclusion, higher access to safe drinking water generally has a strong positive relationship with sanitation and hand washing access, and is negatively associated with open defecation across countries and years in a general sense. Access to clean drinking water is one of the most essential needs that must be addressed because water is not just a resource. It is the foundation that allows communities to survive and grow and thrive. Without it, countries face greater challenges in maintaining hygiene, preventing disease, and creating healthy environments. The question is not whether people need safe drinking water. The question is, what are we willing to do to make sure everyone has it? Change starts when people recognize the problem and choose to act. The first step is awareness. Now, I want everyone to share what you have learned here today and encourage leaders and decision makers to make decisions that prioritize access to safe drinking water. And that is the end of my presentation. Thank you.